Doing this kind of thing is so common that Jest actually has this capability built in with what's called a Jest mock function. So rather than making a local variable, we're going to use a Jest mock function that will keep track of those things for us. So we'll say this handle submit is actually a Jest function, and then we'll pass handle submit into our assertion and say that handle submit was called with the username and password object here. And that works just as well. And if it was called with multiple arguments, then we could add arg2 and arg3 and so on and so forth. But ours is only called with one argument, so we can just pass that object there and everything works just as well. This is typically how I test things like this that accepts a function. I'm going to pass it a mock function that gives me a lot of capabilities on this mock function, like some special assertions, as well as the ability to mock the implementation, where I could say, hey, this is the thing that I want to have happen when this is called, or I can even say handle submit mock implementation, or implementation once, or mock resolve value, return value, all kinds of things that you have with Jest mock functions. So I typically use Jest mock functions. Another thing that this is going to protect us against is something that's actually could be really bad, and that is what happens if somebody accidentally typos and now we're submitting twice. There are some functions where that wouldn't make a huge deal at the end of the day. Maybe it's a pure function or something, but a submit handler like this probably would end up submitting the form twice, which could be a real problem. So we want to make sure that it's only called once. So that's why I'm going to say expect handle submit to have been called times once and only once. Now it's going to fail, so we can go ahead and fix that, and there it goes. So in review, all that we did here is remove the local variable that we had and our own custom little function that we were using to track what this function was called with, and instead used a Jest function, which we can pass into that onSubmit handler, and then we can use the assertion to have been called with and to have been called times to get us the confidence that we need that this onSubmit prop is being used appropriately based on how the user is going to interact with what's rendered by the login component.